This past Sunday, we heard from Pastor Paul that the wise men had to pay a price to see the king. They paid the price in terms of having to walk a long distance to see Christ. Some speculate over 900 miles. Maybe they had to pay for new shoes, or maybe food along the way, or maybe they had to rent the camels that they were riding. It doesn't matter. They had to pay a price. For those of you that travel, you know the cost of that. They paid the price in terms of having to navigate danger with King Herod, who, after noting that the wise men didn't return to him, not so inconspicuously, he then proceeded to kill all the baby boys in Bethlehem. And finally, it cost them something in terms of gifts, giving gold, connoting Jesus' kingship, frankincense to connote him as the new priest, and myrrh in preparation for Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. That would have cost them something. So we need to ask ourselves, am I giving up anything in order to be with the King of Kings? He doesn't require us to, he isn't charging admission to be with him. You don't buy a ticket to be able to be with God. However, when you think about it, Jesus changed the world with his birth, his life, his death, and his resurrection. He changed the course of human history. So surely he must have changed my life in some way if we take him seriously. And what I mean is that the Bible doesn't state that God requires you to pay him in order to be in his presence. Christ already paid that price for you. However, if we take a look at our lives and nothing has changed between when we didn't take him seriously and now, maybe we need to take a look at our lives and ask, are we allowing him to transform us into who he wants us to be? We may be worshiping the King of Kings, but am I obeying the King? I may be singing songs of praise to the new priest, but am I allowing that priest to speak into my life? I may know in my head that Christ came to die for my sins, but do I know it in my heart? And am I made new in God because of it? You see, Christ paid the price to be in relationship with us. Now it's our turn to give up our old self to the King of Kings this Christmas. Take a moment before we celebrate Christmas, before we start giving gifts, before we get into the busyness that is the holidays, to ask yourself, am I allowing myself to be transformed in the grace and love that this season represents?